absolute bold-faced lies. Look, we knew that Joe was sick. Everybody knew that Joe wasn't well, but how bad was it? We're finding out that it was really bad, and it shouldn't be a shocker to any of us. And here's the first thing I would say. I wish no ill will on him. God bless him. I hope he and his family are fighting this thing, and I hope that he's able to enjoy what, in all honesty, the last few moments of life. I'm not talking about him going tomorrow, but in truth, I mean, if sports is played in 4 quarters, right? So is life in many ways. And in reality, he's in overtime. He's in double overtime. And I want him to be well for as long as he possibly can. Enjoy some time with your family. But now to the media. This was not about Joe. None of this was about Joe. This announcement, this here, is about the massive cover-up and the bullshit that was pulled on the American people. You can hate Donald Trump all you want. This isn't about him. Don't dare look somebody in the eye and say, Donald Trump lies all the time. Donald Trump, George Bush, W. Barack Obama, they had their PSA screening. It got out as it was supposed to. They let everybody know. This guy didn't. And this wasn't something that happened over the last 200 days. They're all still trying to cover their tracks, figure out how this could have happened under their nose. It was simple. Your disdain for the guy who's orange, as you like to call him, the orange man bad, was so great that you were willing to ignore all the signs of, cognitive decline. Could that be dementia? Could it be Alzheimer's? It's not just a slowing down. I think we recognize that, as well as the fact that there was more to it, and yet it didn't get out. And this wasn't something, as this doctor here points out on Morning Joe, as much as Morning Joe is trying to figure out how to go around and explain this, and oh my God, it's not about this. Let me tell you something. No. This was bad, and this didn't just happen, since
you're
January
an
21st.
oncologist, obviously incredibly respected. You believe that it is likely, just for those just tuning in, you believe it is likely, if this prostate cancer has spread to the bone, that he could have had it for up to a decade, but certainly it's likely. Would it be fair to say it's likely to have had this for at least several years?
Oh, more than several years. You don't get prostate cancer.
So again, I just want to stop you. So this is not speculation. If you have prostate cancer that is spread to the bone, then he's most certainly, you were saying, had it when he was president of the United States.
Oh, yeah. He did not develop it in the last 100, 200 days. He had it while he was president. He probably had it at the start of his presidency in 2021. Yes, that I don't think there's any disagreement about that.
No disagreement about that. Dude had it for a while. This doesn't happen overnight. What he has and how it has gone about with the prostate cancer and metastasized itself takes place over 7 to 10 years to get to the point where it's in his bones. 7 to 10 years. His family is awful. They are. The abuse, and that's what it is. Man, you keep somebody around like that where they are, for all intents and purposes, not with it, not understanding what is going on half the time. And it's fair to say that. Don't tell me, oh, that's not very, no, that's the absolute reality of it. Let's not bullshit anybody anymore. This is what it is. Dude was in serious trouble, which means the nation had serious issues. Who's running shit behind the scenes? Nameless, faceless, nobody voted for them. Yet they had the keys to the castle and could do whatever they wanted. And it seems like Dr. Jill, not a licensed medical professional, and Hunter didn't want to give up the power. That was something that had been talked about for a long time. We brought it up on the morning show on numerous occasions that there was a lot of people inside of there saying, yeah, They didn't want it to give up the power. They enjoy the accoutrements that come with it. Bullshit. Absolute bullshit. Our country had a person who had no idea what was going on in a lot of occasions, really was functionally okay for just a few hours during the day, and on top of that was dealing with something like this. And the media bullshitted us. They all lied to us. They didn't want to find out any of this stuff. And now that this book is coming out, they're acting like they've just discovered something. You haven't. You haven't discovered squadoosh. You failed us. And you failed your party as well in a major way. He had serious issues. You remember Robert Hur, so the special investigation, right? He was 67 Corvette, all that stuff there. And he was being interviewed by the man, Robert Hur, right? The evil one. He's evil. So here's the special investigator, Robert Hur, interviewing him. And this is about 45 seconds of the interview. But you can hear, this is a guy who's president of the United States. He doesn't know what the hell's going on.
I don't know. This is what, 2017, 18, that area?
Yes, sir.
Remember, in this time frame, my son is either been deployed or is dying. And so it was, and by the way, there were still a lot of people at the time when I got out of the Senate that were encouraging me to run in this period.
Nobody was encouraging. Nobody. There was a few. Who? People that thought they could control you, maybe? People that thought, hey, you know what? This guy's the same old same. He's perfect for us. We can get around him. We can kind of run everything. And again, I go back to Jill and the family just absolutely egging him on. Bullshit. Bullshit. As Jack Jones said, do you think it was fear of Kamala becoming president? No, because I got to be honest with you. I don't think they ever told Kamala. I think Kamala found out when we found out. Oh, she might have known about the cognitive decline. Maybe, maybe not. I mean, if you watch TV, you knew. But as far as this other stuff, nah, they weren't telling her squat. They didn't trust her because she would have used it. You go and tell the vice president who wants to be the president, who you don't trust, who Jill can't stand, that he's got prostate cancer that is spread. She would have freaking been out like a rocket ship to the media. That stuff would have leaked so fast. No, they didn't tell her. There was not some grand scheme back here. The grand scheme was stick around as long as you can. See if you can beat this guy just out of pure disgust and hate. If you can beat this guy. And when he realized that the jig was up on that night during the debate, well, then it was too late. And then he decided, hey, I'll get back at everybody else and I'll throw Kamala out there. And away it went. But no, Kamala, they wouldn't tell her. If you were second in charge and you thought the guy running the show was a buffoon, a blithering idiot at this point, the wife hated you, and you were told, don't tell anybody, he's really sick. Who are you going to tell? Everybody. Make sure it gets out to the media. Make sure they ask questions. And the media, you're as complicit as this as anybody else. I got destroyed for months by a bunch of wackadoos online when I came out and said, hey, this is what I'm hearing. I'm hearing that he wanders the hallway at night, doesn't know where he is half the time. He's got serious issues. He's not going to run again. That was a year and a half plus. Oh, you're horrible. It's right-wing talking points. No, it wasn't. It was easy to see. And everybody wants to say age. You know what? Age can be an issue. There's no doubt. You slow down. We all get there. Right? Father Time's undefeated. But Bernie's an older gentleman. I don't think Bernie's lost the plot. I may not agree with his politics. I don't think Bernie's lost the plot. No. This was a massive cover-up that is way bigger than the media, unfortunately, who should be covering this cover-up, is on about. And the only ones to talk about are the people on the right and some true independent journalists, right? The news nations of the world and CNN, and then we'll talk about it in the way that it's, well, Jake Tapper's got a book with Alex Thompson. Alex Thompson, who got destroyed by many in the media because he came out and said, this guy's not there. Anybody who came out and challenged it, any Democrat who came out and challenged it, got absolutely beat down. They didn't want that. Why? It has nothing to do with anything other than Donald Trump. Dare I say this? What would it look like, right? Let's just paint a different picture. Donald Trump, after 2020, says, I want nothing to do with anything anymore. I want to hit golf balls the rest of my life. They decide, we're not going to pursue anything. He's not going to run again. They just let it go. And he had DeSantis and Nikki Haley, or one of those two ends up being the presidential candidate for the Republicans. Do you think that the Democrats allow this to go on as long? They're not as worried about the evil man that is Donald Trump? Probably not. Probably not at all. Even though I think his family loved the limelight, they loved the stuff. I mean, Jill's traipsing him around right now, trying to get him pumped up for whatever he's going to do and talk about. Yeah, nobody wants to see it. Nobody does. And now after this, and again, I wish him no ill will. God bless him. I know there's a lot of people out there in my industry who's like, I don't know him. I don't care, blah, blah, blah. He's an evil person. That's not me. But this has nothing to do with him. And Democrats, how could you trust your party again? From what they did to Bernie to the continual BS that they spew on a daily basis of wackadoo progressiveness that has nothing to do with anything in the real world, to now knowing that they gaslit you as much as they gaslit everybody else. How could you trust them, Van Jones?
I do not see that happening. I see people, rather than reorganizing, rethinking. Center for American Progress took off in 2005 and came up with a new set of ideas for Democrats. That has to happen before we get out here and start trying to tell people, why they should like us. We need to look in the mirror, reorganize ourselves, get bad people and bad ideas out of the way, and then we'll be able to come forward in the midterms. But right now, we need to apologize to the American people that we were a part of something that.
Nope, not on the up and up. And many people hit it. Not on the up and up. In the media, like I said, it's you. You didn't uncover something. Everybody saw it. Been saying it for days. Stevie Wonder could have seen it from across the room. He knew there was something wrong. Everybody did. You failed. If you want to talk to us about democracy dies in darkness, well, then don't do what you did. Don't lie to the American people about how the president's doing. Don't lie to the American people and say it's okay. It's just a right-wing talking point when you know it's not, because your disdain for the other guy is so great. By the way, the other guy, which you love in some ways, because, well, he's always doing something. He's always saying something. There's always something going on that causes headlines and panic and chaos and likes and clicks and shares. And because of that, you do like him. You hate his policy and politics. You love the personality and the chaos. But chaos is the fact that we have people that were running this country that had no business running this country. We had people that were probably signing off on things that cost us God knows what money-wise. And that's okay because democracy dies in darkness. You're not a journalist. You're a shill. That's the reality of it. You're a shill. Hell, I'm not a journalist, and I try to be fair and balanced and look at other sides. You guys are so full of shit. You couldn't even do that when you saw it in front of you. You're like, I could win a Pulitzer Prize. Or, no, I could ignore everything. And that's what you chose to do. And the more they tried to hide it from you, the more you should have been curious as to why you don't want me to see that. But alas, here we are. Speaking of that, we pivoted from that to this. James Comey, who last week tweeted or Instagrammed or something a picture of some shells that said 8647. He was on MSNBC, and they've got to get in their shots. You know, this Trump guy, it's really bad with
Tell us
investigating.
about, take us through all of the ways he sought to investigate you. He's been tweeting about investigating you and prosecuting you, I think, since 2017, shortly after he fired you.
I think that's right. And I intentionally don't keep track of these things, but he has, and I hope no one will, but he has dozens of times called for me to be incarcerated and accused me of all manner of things. And I was investigated repeatedly in a variety of different ways in his first term. I went through the mother of all IRS audits, which cost me thousands of dollars, but I got a $347 refund at the end. Turns out I had overpaid my taxes. But just again and again and again, I really thought that I was done. I was in another life. I was a grandfather and an author wearing, sweaters and jeans. And then I went for a walk on the beach and posted a silly picture of shells that I thought was a clever way to express a political viewpoint. And actually, I still think it is. I don't see it the way some people are still saying it is. But again, I don't want any part of any violence. I've never been associated with violence, and so that's why I took it down.
So
that's why I took it down. If you didn't know what 86th means, you're an idiot. I don't want that. 86. What does it mean? Well, it means a lot. Well, it could be 86 and somebody from a bar. Yeah. You ever watch a mob movie? 86. Get rid of him. It was poor for whatever reason. But you're the, former FBI director. You don't know what 86 means? 47? You couldn't figure that out? That shit was, you didn't think, maybe I shouldn't do this. No. Now, do I think he needs to be in jail? No. Do I think he needs to be investigated anymore? No. But come on. Much like everything else, stop blowing smoke, okay? I was born at night, but it wasn't last night. And finally, on this wonderful Monday, kids and kittens, if you're not paying attention, Starbucks is very angry at the stuff that's going on. They want them to wear uniform clothes. Not so much uniforms themselves, but they have a little uniformity to it. Black outfits, black shirts, black jeans, things of that nature. And they're not happy to the point where it may be infringing on all of their rights.
We just demand that Starbucks follow the law. They don't have the right to overthrow the National Labor Relations Act. They're imperiling every civil right that we have. Not just as workers, as union workers, but that's the framework that all of our rights are under. So all of our rights are in danger, and the only thing we can rely on is each other and taking direct action in solidarity.
Perfect. Colin?
Exactly what Jacob said.
Perfect.
It's up to us to stand up for our rights and for our workplace.
Love it. Thank you, guys. No contract.
Woo! Taking away all of our rights. Starbucks is? Starbucks have that kind of power? Is that what happens? Could you see that? Dude, what happened? Fucking Starbucks. Took away everybody's rights. Yep. No more. No more now. Whatever Starbucks says goes. They run the world. I know coffee's important, but it ain't that important. But here's what I have to say to you guys. Get another job. Right? If you're unhappy, get another job. Now, I know that not a lot of people are rushing to hire somebody who's got a degree in humanities and a master's in interpretive dance. But if you're unhappy with all of the things that are going on at Starbucks, then find a new gig. It's not hard. It isn't. I've been places, I've been unhappy, and I've said, I'm going to go find a new gig when I was younger. That's it. That's what happens. That's how the world works. If you're nobody woke up and said, dude, go get that guy, Jacob, or whatever his name was, put a gun to his head and tell him, Starbucks or else. It's like, no. You're miserable. Go find a new job. But you can't, because Starbucks lets you get away with a lot of stuff. They pay you pretty decent comparatively to other jobs that wouldn't and would ask you to come in on a daily basis to actually, I don't know, work, which is hilarious. So, alas, there you are. Starbucks, we wish you all the best in trying to get everybody to wear those heinous black shirts and black pants. Well, what if I can't afford that? Well, then tell them I can't afford that. You guys need to make, because I think there are some rules where they're forcing you to buy certain outfits. They have to kick that down. But it's not, they're not asking you to shave your beard, cover up everything, show up every day, perfect, this, wear a bow tie. They're not asking for any of that. They're just saying, hey, not so much wacky flair. We're running a coffee shop. We want to have that vibe. Well, great. They want a vibe of profitability. And they're trying to do some stuff. So if you're miserable and you're unhappy, there's the door, brother. On the way out. It ain't that hard. Find something else. Somebody will hire you. I'm sure of it. Maybe not. I don't know. My assumption is somebody will. There's got to be another coffee shop, maybe a record store that would. Make them wear Armani suits. I think that might be a bridge too far for even them. Join me tomorrow. A lot of stuff that we'll talk about in the morning. A bunch of other stuff I didn't get to tonight. But back tomorrow, we'll have my uncle on the show again. We're going live for about an hour and a half tomorrow. He's been traveling. He was actually in Palm Springs this past weekend where the guy blew himself up. It wasn't my uncle. I said, hey, dude, did you blow yourself up? He said, no, I didn't blow myself up. But that wackadoo, if you guys didn't see, who was this nihilist lunatic who believed that babies and people, no more babies, no more people, everything needs to go human race wise. And you're like, what are you talking about? So it was crazy. But he'll join us tomorrow. We'll talk a lot of different things, more on some crazy AI stuff coming out as well. And a lot more, I'm sure, on all of this stuff. And follow along, like and subscribe and share. We appreciate it when you do that. Check out our Facebook as well. And tomorrow, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Pacific, 9 a.m. to noon on the East Coast. You can go to ChadBensonShow.com, find out where we're playing on your radio station. And we will see you tomorrow. You guys have a blessed